Okay, students, here what we're going to do. We're going to write some formulas the other way around. So here's our just some good old-fashioned formula. This is circumference formula. It's pi times 2r, or pi times diameter times pi. It's all interchangeable. The perimeter of a rectangular shape would be the two lengths plus the two widths. And then the area of a circle, I believe, is pi r squared. So we're actually going to solve these for the other variables. Okay, so we're writing formulas other ways because we don't always get the radius, so we need to find the circumference. What can you do if you have the circumference and you got to work backwards to the radius? Well, you can solve the formula. You can isolate that variable and it'll actually reverse the formula. So we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to solve this for r. We're going to solve this one for the width. Again, what are we doing this for? We're doing this if that's the piece we're missing. If we're missing the radius, we can't use this formula. Okay, so we got to solve it so we can find the radius. If we're missing the width, we can't use this formula. If we're missing the radius, we can't use this formula. So let's rework these and see if we can reverse the formulas to find the missing piece. Okay, so here we go. Isolating r, let's see, both the pi and the 2 are connected by multiplication. So how about we just go and wax those out right away? Divided by pi, divided by 2, divided by pi, divided by 2, cancel, cancel. That's it, we're done. The radius of any circle is going to be the circumference divided by, let me rewrite that, 2 pi. Boom, just like that. Okay. Now when would you use this formula? This is when you would use the circumference and you'd work backwards to find the radius. How would that work? Well, let's say you only have like 50 inches of string and you want to make a circle. Well, that would be the circumference. So if you solve backwards, you can figure out how far the circle will reach from the center because that's what the radius is. Okay, working backwards. Perimeter. You're missing the width, but you have the length and you actually have the perimeter, so you got to figure out how wide you can make something. So let's solve this for W. The 2 is connected by multiplication. This 2L is just an addition connection. So let's get rid of that first. Minus 2L, minus 2L. The perimeter minus 2L is going to equal 2W. Okay, now we got to get rid of that 2 is connected by multiplication. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Remember, you divide all of the pieces by 2. Cancels. Okay, the width is going to equal half the perimeter, p divided by 2, minus, these 2's cancel, the length. There you go. Whoops, I forgot. There it is. Okay, I thought I forgot something for a second. So p divided by 2 is half the perimeter, minus the length. The 2's cancel. There you go. So what would you use this formula? Well, if you had the perimeter and you had the length, you can work backwards to find the width really quick. So the width is going to be half the perimeter minus the length. Okay. Circle. Let's say you already have the area of a circle. You got to work backwards to find the radius. Well, let's solve for r. Okay, so we have a times pi, and then we have a radical sign. So remember, you want to get rid of the weakest connection first. What is the weakest connection? Times is definitely going to be weaker than a square. Okay, so we have the area divided by pi equals r squared. Now, I don't think we've talked about this a lot. I may have dropped some hints, but I don't think I've officially told you. But the only way you can undo a square is to square root. So if you square root the entire right side, right side, you get the square root the entire left side. Okay, so the radius given the area would be the square root of that area divided by pi. Now in your calculators, you want to make sure you do this. So I think if you type it out, square root of area divided by pi, it may not include it inside the radical sign. So just like that, if I have the area, I can put it over pi, square root it, and I can instantly calculate the radius of that circle. So there you go. That's what it's good for. Now, we can all use these formulas. These have been the same formula since like 2nd, 3rd, or 4th grade. All right? So the real trick is, can you work backwards? Instead of me giving you the pieces and you find the answer, what happens when you have the answer and you got to figure out what the pieces were in the first place? You're kind of being a mathematical detective here, all right? But it's the same algebra, okay? You just remove weakest connections to strongest connections and you could rework any formula to your liking. Next, I'll be doing the Fahrenheit and Celsius formula. That's a dense one, so I'll be right back in a second.